The film opens with gunfire, and we see a zombie hybrid attacking a man. The hybrid's name is Brooke. Suddenly she bites Grace, who tries to calm herself down because it feels extremely threatening. Grace tells Maxi to shoot Brooke, but a man named Barry tries to calm Brooke down with a capsule containing blood. Brooke takes the capsule and drinks it, slowly regaining control, but Grace, already enraged after being bitten, shoots an iron arrow right into Barry's hand. Then, Grace and Maxi are forced to leave. The scene shifts to a small house, where we are introduced to a man named Reese. Reese is a corporal-ranked soldier. It seems like he's getting ready for something. Interestingly, the scenery around Reese's house is filled with zombies trying to break in. Reese uses this to his advantage to get some work done. Soon after, Reese leaves his home, driving a heavily modified vehicle, and heads to a field, preparing his weapons. He notices someone approaching on a motorbike, takes a shot, and successfully captures the man he was after. Reese takes the man to a lab that's used to research and develop a cure for people infected by the zombie virus. Reese is assigned a new mission to capture a specific hybrid zombie requested by the lab's scientist, the surgeon. Being a soldier who hunts zombies, Reese has no choice but to follow their orders. On the other hand, Grace starts showing symptoms from Brooke's bite. Maxi immediately gives her another blood capsule to calm her down. Suddenly, they are ambushed and shot at by Reese, who is after Grace. Grace fights back, but it's not enough, and she gets captured by Reese. The scene shifts again, showing the surgeon taking blood from a woman to extract it into a capsule to use as a sedative against the virus. It turns out that both the surgeon and the lab's colonel are also infected with the same virus, and they need Reese to continue their survival, though Reese doesn't know they're infected. Reese quickly returns to the lab, giving the blood capsule to calm Grace down, and is then tasked with delivering a container to another location. Along the way, Reese runs out of gas. His vehicle uses gas generated from zombies' breath, so he must find another zombie to refuel. Maxi takes advantage of the situation by hitching a ride in Reese's vehicle from the back. Reese eventually arrives at the destination to deliver the container for the colonel. As night approaches, Reese returns home, unaware that Maxi is hiding in the vehicle with him. The electricity goes out, and when Reese steps outside to fix it, Maxi shoots him with a blunt bullet. Time flies, and by the next morning, Reese regains consciousness, finding himself tied up by Maxi. Maxi demands Reese help her rescue Grace, who's being held in the lab by the surgeon. They start their journey together, with Reese as Max's captive, heading towards the surgeon's lab. Along the way, Reese takes a yellow capsule that keeps him alive from the zombie virus spreading everywhere. His vehicle, which is highly modified, has a secret lever that Reese pulls, ejecting Maxi from the car. Reese quickly fires a blunt bullet to incapacitate Maxi, flipping the situation where Maxi is now Reese's prisoner, to be handed over to the colonel. Upon reaching the lab, Reese reports that Maxi is Grace's sister. The colonel's men take Maxi, telling Reese that Maxi will end up in a container too. Hearing this, Reese gets angry and demands an explanation from the colonel, who dismisses him and orders Reese to leave the area. Reese is unhappy. He follows the order. But Reese grabs a blunt rifle, attacking the soldiers and the colonel. Reese and Maxi escape, leading to a high-speed chase. Eventually, Reese's car gets shot at, but Maxi manages to escape by pulling the eject lever again. Reese is captured, tied to a tree and tortured by the colonel. Reese must endure being slowly eaten by the surrounding zombies unless he escapes. However, the zombies suddenly stop moving, as they're being controlled by Brooke. Brooke's hybrid abilities allow her to enter zombies' minds and control them. The scene then shifts to Barry, who is furious with Reese for handing Grace over to the colonel. Grace is actually their ally, though she initially escaped with Maxi. Fortunately, Maxi explains that Reese saved her from being taken into the lab. Barry acknowledges this, and they team up with Reese. They start planning their move, watching every corner of the lab where the containers are stored. Reese asks to be released from his restraints, but he still hasn't taken the antivirus capsule, and Reese doesn't fully understand its contents. Their operation begins, with Brooke using her powers to control the zombies. As they infiltrate the lab, they discover a shocking truth. The capsules Reese takes daily are made from the ground bodies of normal humans. Upon learning this, Reese is devastated. realizing that the medicine he's been relying on is made from human flesh. In anger, Reese shoots the doctor responsible for making the pills. Reese decides to help his friends take down the Colonel and end his cruelty. The scene shifts to the Colonel's lab, where Reese and the others have arrived at the facility. They pretend to hand over Brooke to the Colonel and the surgeon, who have been searching for her all along. Once the soldiers open the gates, Brooke unleashes chaos by commanding the zombies to attack. They manage to enter the lab. Max is tasked with taking control of the security systems to help Reese and the others inside. The Colonel and the surgeon prepare to defend themselves. As Brooke infiltrates deeper, she finds Grace still alive. They move further inside to rescue Grace, but the door is locked just as Brooke starts to enter. And suddenly, a robot zombie, controlled by the surgeon, appears and fights Brooke. Meanwhile, Maxi is captured by the Colonel, who forces Barry to drop his weapon. Then the Colonel shoots Barry in the stomach. Seeing this, Reese tries to fight back but fails. Meanwhile, the surgeon's infected hand starts acting up again. And it turns out Grace uses her abilities to control the surgeon's hand and the nearby zombies. The surgeon fights back with an electric baton, knocking Grace unconscious. The battle between Brooke and the robot zombie continues until Brooke defeats it by cutting off its power supply and electrocuting the robot. In the dark, Max shoots the Colonel in the head, allowing them to move further into the lab. Brooke, now exhausted, can't control herself, and they must quickly draw her blood for an antidote. Unexpectedly, Brooke bites Barry, and Maxi immediately gives her some blood, which quickly calms her down. Though disoriented, Brooke apologizes, and they rush out just as the surgeon escapes with Grace. It turns out the room is rigged with grenades and set to explode in 30 seconds. Brooke and Barry stay behind, sacrificing themselves so Reese and Max can escape. Meanwhile, the surgeon has arrived at Reese's location with Grace, intending to take her blood to fully transform into a hybrid. Reese and Max quickly follow the surgeon on a motorbike. Before long, they arrive and see that Grace is powerless. The surgeon, now fully transformed into a powerful hybrid, is extremely strong and overpowers Reese in the fight. Just as the surgeon is about to deliver a final blow, Grace steps in from behind and finishes him off. Finally, Reese and Maxi are reunited with Grace after being separated for so long. Reese, though gravely injured, is ready to end his life. But Grace stops him, and Maxi gives him the last capsule to help Reese survive. Elsewhere, it's revealed that Barry and Brooke somehow survived the explosion, and the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.